The Denver International Airport, located in, well, Denver, Colorado, has always had a white veil shrouding its most secretive areas and features, from supposedly evil statues to a secret bunker that holds the biggest answers to the largest questions. So why does this one airport that has a perfect track record on the surface have such dark assumptions surrounding it? Opened in 1995, the Denver International Airport very quickly grew into the mysterious location it is today. Mayor Federico Pena gave the okay for the start of construction in September 1989, starting the process of building one of the largest and most used airports to date. But there's no evidence to back up the conspiracies that everyone's talking about, you might say. But to say there wasn't any evidence is to say that this video wouldn't exist. So then what evidence is there? Well, for starters, according to Google, the average cost of constructing an international airport can range from $30 million to $1 billion. What makes Denver different is its $4 billion construction fee, which when matched to the previously stated statistics is, well, for lack of a better word, extreme. It would garner huge buildings and surrounding terminals, which it has, but also could it include an underground bunker for the officials of the so-called dark government? According to Wikipedia, the shadow government, secret government, or invisible government is a family of conspiracy theories based on the notion that real and actual political power resides not with publicly elected representatives, but with private individuals who are exercising power behind the scenes, beyond the scrutiny of democratic institutions. According to this belief, the official elected government is subservient to the shadow government, which is the true executive power. This conspiracy theory is widespread and connects with a lot of other conspiracy theories that have been thrown around and some slightly confirmed. So we take the average cost of an international airport and cross-reference it to the cost of Denver, we have about a $2 billion delta. So could it be plausible for there to be a secret evil supercenter under this airway? Well, let's think logically. If the engineers and construction workers had to look and build out the schematics and make sure that the airport had the right supports underneath, you'd think they'd ask someone why there's a $2 billion budget set aside in a big area underneath the airport that has a "don't go in here" mark on the maps. But then again, if we're going with the skeptic approach, they could have been paid off not to say anything, and they couldn't have just not known, as there wasn't any major construction after the airport's opening. I mean, they didn't build it after the grand opening, so were the workers kicked out after a certain period so that the dark government officials could build their secret meeting headquarters underneath one of the biggest airports in the world? Or did it just not happen? But if it was true, then it would give them extremely easy access to flights and ways to get out of the country, not to mention private jets or just not having to pay for anything due to governmental rank. When bringing up points to prove that there is something more that meets the eye at Denver, skeptics usually bring up its shape. Yes, the physical shape of the airways. As you look at an aerial view of the Mammoth Supercenter, you realize that the runways all form a very disrespected symbol in history, the swastika. Now, while all the runways don't really line up with the symbol's all too familiar attributes, you can't deny there's a striking resemblance. But just because an ergonomic or well-planned out group of runways form a not-so-good symbol doesn't mean there's a group above all of our ranks that control our tax money and votes and prices of gas and are tied to a conspiracy where high-ranking government officials are stealing children and plotting the end of the United States as I read the script. There's just not enough evidence to make it undeniable. Let's check physical evidence off the list then. First, a time capsule on the property bearing symbols of the Freemasons, well known for association with the so-called Illuminati. Along with it, plain buildings with no markings or any descriptive factors for that matter border the property of the airport, supposedly being built in the beginning stages of the airport's construction, but were left unfinished after contractors realized they weren't built correctly, so they were left on the property and some of them pushed underground and buried beneath tons upon tons of dirt. One other creepy fact is that when on the bottom level of the airport, people still spot doorways leading downstairs, even though they're on the ground level. While there could be electrical rooms or storage facilities under there, it's kind of weird to think that these are popping up all over the place that frequent flyers are seeing, and it's going to be weird for there to be a bunch of things underneath the airport when there's so much space above the ground to put things. Now, when looking into all the different conspiracies, I found that the Denver International Airport website holds a key to the vault of skepticism, as many people have taken every written word on the site and scrutinized it to the point where even I start to get freaked out. Take their service page, for example. Just go to www.flydenver.com, go to the homepage, and right at the top you'll see a services banner. Click it, and the third result is a heading titled Children. Not children safety or children rules or guidelines, just children. And the first result when you click on it is children flying solo, which seems weird for a mainstream company to be using such average slang in the heading, and when thrown onto Urban Dictionary, flying solo comes up with this. So, children related to that. While this doesn't seem plausible, there are many who think the opposite, as it fits perfectly with the heavily discussed Pizzagate conspiracy, which is a whole video by itself. We haven't even scratched the surface. What about Lucifer, the statue of a horse outside the building that broke apart before even being finished and severing its maker's leg? Or how its red eyes are nodding to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, or the artwork depicting Lucifer, disasters, and the end of the world. There's so many coincidences with this one building, it starts to really get you freaking out on the inside. Looking at travelandleisure.com, they write, it doesn't help that the airport's dedication mark credits an organization called the New World Airport Commission for building it. This may seem like a coincidence, but it was discovered that such an organization doesn't actually exist, according to the airport's website itself. People have also noted strange markings on buildings, which they believe to be connected to the New World Order. All of this piled on top of the swastika airways, piled on top of the Freemason symbols, piled on top of the horse that has ties to the 4 horsemen, tied to the suspicious downstairs signs on ground levels, tied to the buildings that are being pushed underground, tied to the creepy website with the children flying solo, and the artwork that depicts Satan, end of the world, and disasters. All of this adds up to something that, while just seems like a conspiracy theory, really starts to have prudence and a lot of evidence surrounding it that makes me actually scared that this is something more than meets the eye. As much as I want to say that I've come up with a groundbreaking finale to this entire conspiracy, I just haven't. I've done 2 days worth of research and still haven't found anything that could really solve this entire question. So for now, this remains unsolved. And until more evidence surfaces, this airport is just going to be up and running with all of these things still on the website and at physical location, and millions of people just not knowing. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this style of content, then maybe drop a like, maybe subscribe. All my merch and socials are linked in the description. I know my face isn't on camera this time. I'm trying a new style of content, so tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.